Big waves. So happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy Thursday. I don't know why this week just feels like a bunch of Fridays to me. I don't know what that is, but it is what it is. That's kind of how I'm going to rock it this week. So hopefully you all are having a beautiful week with a bunch of Fridays as well. And I'm zooming in on my notes because I can't actually see them. But our word today is brought to us from Leanne Thomas. And I am going to say, keep them coming. I've got a list from Arlene. She sent me some stumpers and she likes to send phrases. So then I really have to do a lot of homework on those. But we got a list from her and we just appreciate all the lists that we get. So if you've got a word that you want us to cover, send it my way because I'm always digging for the new word and so that I don't have to go recycle because sometimes I lose my creativity and start recycling. But the word today is resilience. And what does that mean? It's the capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties, also known as toughness, the ability to spring back. You kind of think about that. That's what I kind of picture is you spring back after you've been beat down a little bit, maybe you picture I feel like this is where my brain's gone before, but I picture when you make bread and you get that ball of dough, right? So you make it the first time, and then your job is to beat it up, beat. And then you kind of drape a little towel, give it a little comfort, and then it comes back even bigger and stronger and better than ever. So that's what I picture when I picture resilience. And one of the quotes that I found was resilience is very different than being numb. Right? Do we ever go through kind of hard things and we just kind of lose all emotion? We just kind of get numb to everything. Instead, resilience means that we experience, we feel, we fail, we hurt, but we still keep going. And resilience means that we're able to adapt and bounce back even when, and we all know it's going to happen, but even when something difficult happens in our life. And this is a super important trait. I think we all kind of know that kind of obviously, but why? Why is resilience so important? First of all, it helps us maintain balance in our life during those difficult and stressful seasons, right? Helps us get through. Melinda, I love the little kitty. It protects us from the development of some different, health issues, mental health issues, things like that. It creates that protection inside of us. Resilient people often do better in both academically and professionally because they can fight through and they can get to the other side. Resilient people tend to take less risk-taking behaviors. So such as things that maybe are how we numb ourselves, right? Anybody else been known to numb yourself with maybe you throw back a few, or you do some things that maybe aren't the best for your body, excessive drinking, maybe smoking, doing drugs, different things like that. Resilient people tend to not partake in those behaviors. And resilient people tend to have healthier and happier and stronger relationships. So there's three different elements that are essential to developing resilience. So first of all, challenge. Resilient, this is a hard word for me to say, guys, just so you know, I'm really struggling. Leanne, I appreciate you, but next time, can we get shorter words with less syllables maybe? Okay, I'm going to focus. We're going to get through it. But resilient people view a difficulty as a challenge, not something that paralyzes them. They look at failure and mistakes as lessons to be learned from and opportunities for growth. So it allows them to fight through and not a negative reflection on their abilities or self-worth. And anybody else do this sometimes where let's just say you can't pronounce a word and you think, oh, I'm just an idiot. I shouldn't speak in public. I should go hide in my closet. And we turn it into this incredible character assassination instead of, oh, well, this is just a little moment, a little challenge that I've got to overcome. And I'm going to practice, pronouncing it in the closet maybe a little bit later and try again tomorrow. So resilient people look at it as a challenge, something that they can fight through and get to the other side, not an incredible character flaw. Next, commitment. Resilient people are committed to their lives. They're committed to their goals, and they have a compelling reason to get out of bed in the morning. And I think a lot of times we talk about our why, right? In our industry, if many of you are part of our beautiful industry and we really focus on our why, we probably should focus on our why in everything. Like, wouldn't college have been a little bit easier if you focused on why you wanted to get that degree, why you were getting up early in the morning, why you were doing those things? I think all aspects of life would be a little bit better if we focused on what motivates us. And resilient people absolutely have that focus right in front of them. They commit to their relationships, they commit to their friendships and the causes that they care about, and their religious and spiritual beliefs. And then lastly, personal control. Resilient people spend their time and energy focusing on situations and events that they have control over. And they can relax or at least let go in the situations when they know that they can't. So I think about myself on an airplane and I want to drive. I don't know how. I want to be in charge. Like, I really think that's why I struggle so much with flying. But resilient people realize that, hey, this is a situation that I can't control. So I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to focus on the spaces where I can. And they spend less time worrying about the uncontrollable events, and that, can lead us to feeling a little bit helpless or powerless to take action. So that's kind of the elements that are essential. And another quote that I found was, joy collected over time fuels resilience. And that's Brene Brown. And I think about that, where, we have this motivation, we have this joy, we have these things in our life that make us want to get up and move on and have that better tomorrow, right? We all have things that we're fighting for, and that is what fuels us to have more. Like, I think about my imaginary grandbabies, and I'm so excited for them. And someday I'm going to crawl around on the ground with them, where I see all these people on here. You have no idea how many grandbabies that we have in this coaches community, where I see like little knee bouncers and kids running around and people talking about different things. And that's something that I look forward to. So that allows me to have a little bit more resilience in my health goals right here, because I want to be around for it and I want to be able to crawl around. And how do we know that we're all resilient? So every single person on here has this tool in their tool belt, right? How do you know? Well, you're here. Like, if we have our heart beating, then we have overcome challenges in our past and we've been resilient. But how can we be a little bit more, right? Like, what if this is a skill that we want to grow a little bit more? Maybe we can feel a little defeated sometimes. How do we overcome that? Well, first of all, we got to take care of our body. And I know that sounds crazy, like, obviously, right? We got to eat well, we got to sleep well, we got to move our body, we got to do those things. But when we feel better in this physical form, when we feel better up here, we're able to cope more effectively with the challenges. We all know the days when we got no sleep the night before. Maybe you had a 5 a.m. flight, and so you got no sleep, and then you ate airport food that's garbage, even when you're trying to do your best, and you get to your destination and your rental car's not there. Have you ever been in that situation? And you might lose your marbles. You're like, it's the end of the world. I don't know how to handle this. What am I going to do? How am I going to get? When normally, if you had slept well, if you had ate well, if you had a little bit more rational thought, you would go, oh, well, I'll just grab an Uber and I'll get the car tomorrow. So when we take care of this body, we're able to overcome situations much better. Next, we want to watch our thoughts. Resilient people don't let negative thoughts derail their efforts. They don't let that negative person live inside of their head rent free. Instead, they consistently practice positive speaking, positive thinking, and they speak kindly to themselves. They don't let that bully in the mirror come out very often. And when they do come out, they say, thank you so much for visiting, but you can go on your way. Next, resilient people work to reframe their thoughts. So kind of like I think it goes tightly or closely with gratitude, where sometimes we got to reframe our thoughts a little bit. But the best way I can think about it is maybe when we're in a negative situation. So let's just imagine that you walk into your beautiful, sweet son's room and you open up his closet because you think, I'm going to help out a little bit and I'm going to make sure And instead of there being a laundry basket that with some clothes in it, there is a laundry mound, like the entire closet. There's nothing hanging. I may have been talking from experience. There's nothing hanging. Everything is just like a mound in the closet. And you might think, oh my goodness, I'm going to throttle this beautiful child. Or you could think, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that my son has had all these experiences to dirty all these clothes. And I'm so grateful that he still lives under this roof. And I'm so grateful that I have the ability and the time and whatever to go handle this laundry. So if we can reframe our thoughts around a negative situation and kind of bad events. So instead of, oh, I am so tired, I'm just exhausted, we can turn it into, man, I've been able to do a lot these last few days, right? So we can just kind of flip our thoughts around and then learn from our mistakes and failures. Every mistake that we make, every single one has the power to teach us something and something important. So don't stop searching until you find the lesson in every single situation. And then lastly, if we want to be more resilient, we've got to maintain perspective. So resilient people understand that although a situation or a crisis may seem absolutely overwhelming in that moment, they realize that it may not make that much of an impact in the long term. So they kind of come back into that perspective of going, okay, this is a problem right now in this moment. And I'm upset right now in this moment, but 3 years from now, 3 months from now, maybe even 3 minutes from now, or it might take 30 years. I don't know, but it's not going to seem like that big of a deal when I get to that space. So that's the lesson that I had today. Had to fill in a little bit last minute for Coach, so apologize for that. But we have a couple of birthdays right on here. So we have our very own Tracy Kennedy, who is a consistent and constant part of our community. And we have our very own Enos Hutchinson, who is a constant and consistent part of our community. So I'm going to ask y'all to sing with me because we've got 2 birthday folks to sing to this morning. So all right, get in here. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Tracy.
Happy birthday
Have a great day.
to
You.
you.
Happy
Bless
birthday.
you.
Not bad.
Have a
Happy
beautiful
birthday.
Thursday.
Happy
Guys, have a
Happy
great
birthday.
day.
birthday, everyone.
Have a great day, y'all.
Thanks,
Love you
Andrea.
guys.
That was really great.
Thank